Now, for you, it might be C++ or Java or PHP or JavaScript or who knows what language that you've programmed and you really don't much like. Well, I've programmed a lot of languages over the years, and none of those languages gives me quite such a chill down the spine as the one that I began with, and that's what I want to talk about now. It came, I'm talking now back in the 1980s, the early 1980s to 83, 84, something like that. It came with MS-DOS. On the MS-DOS disk, it was free. It was called GW Basic. What did the GW stand for? Who knows? If you look on Wikipedia, you'll see there are a few theories. We always said it was for gee-whiz, and apparently that is one of the possible explanations. Well, gee-whiz, I really don't want to program it again. It was a nightmare. If you've never programmed that old sort of BASIC, I hardly know where to begin to explain to you the full horrors. The language was completely, very, very much unstructured. You had everything on line numbers, so you'd start with line 10 would have set x equal to 1, line 20 would be add 1 to x, line 30 would be if x is greater than do something, and so on. Why were there 10 line gaps? Why don't you just go line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Problem came is if you wanted to add some code. Say you've written some code at line 10 and you've written some more code on the following line. You now want to insert some code. In BASIC, you have to have some extra line numbers available, so people generally left 10 line gaps to insert more code. But what if you had more than 10 lines of code? Well, then you were really stuffed. You had to put the code somewhere else, anywhere else in your program, and then have a command saying go to line 5000, execute that command, and then line 5020 would say go to line 70, and something else would happen, and soon you'd get this network, they used to call it spaghetti code, this network of go-tos saying go to here, go to there. Or you could have go sub, which meant go to somewhere and then return to where you started. But it was just go to a line number, go to 1000. It wasn't go to and then the name of a function, as if you've learned to program with a more civilized language, you would be used to. There were other things that I didn't like about GW Basic. It had next to no programming, editing, or debugging, or any of the tools that you'd expect these days. It was very unstructured, apart from the lack of procedures and functions and all these horrible line numbers. You could also have something, it sounds like a modern idea now, but all the types, all the data types were inferred. So as you used a variable, you didn't even have to declare them. As you used a variable and assigned something to it, that was inferred. Very fashionable these days. You can do it in quite a lot of languages, Python, Ruby, and so on. It can be quite powerful, but it also is sometimes a bit like doing a high wire act without a safety net, because if you try and do some operation on a variable which is the wrong data type, concatenate two integers, for example, when you're expecting two strings, your program is very likely to crash. Some people like GW Basic. Now, don't take my word for it. I was just reading an article by Jim Hall here. He is the project coordinator and founder of FreeDOS, which is a modern DOS emulation operating system. If you look at this, why I love programming on FreeDOS with GW Basic. So go and read that, Maybe he's seen something in GW Basic that I haven't. I don't plan on installing GW Basic onto my copy of FreeDOS because I never want to see GW Basic ever again. Luckily, I moved on very quickly from GW Basic to another language. We're talking, as I say, in the early to mid-80s. I had two real obvious choices at the time, either C or Pascal. I nearly went for C, but C compilers were really expensive. I mean, hundreds of pounds or dollars for something like Lattice C, which was one of the standards at that time. I was quite tempted by a C interpreter. I thought it was called Living C for some reason. I looked it up today and I couldn't find any references to Living C, so I think it might have been a product called Instant C. I don't know why I thought it was Living C. If anybody can tell me, if you remember that name, please put a comment down below. And that had really quite a nice environment for the time. It let you trace through your code. So there was this little cursor that would bounce around from one line to another and show you what was happening. And I was really quite tempted by that. I was talked out of it really by more experienced programmers who pointed out that this was, it's quite a slow interpreter of C, and C is really intended to be a compiled language. Fortunately, another language came along, Turbo Pascal. I've talked recently about Pascal in another video. And in fact, if you go to my channel, you find lots of lessons and discussions of both Pascal and C. And so I went with Turbo Pascal. Utterly, totally different from GW Basic. Everything was structured, named procedures, named functions, variable declaration blocks. Everything had strict typing, lots of error checking if you had the types wrong. Taught me, I think, very sound programming practices, how not to write spaghetti code, the sort of code that was all too easy to write in GW Basic. And so that really, Turbo Pascal was my first serious programming language. And I'm really glad that I quickly went to that from GW Basic. No love lost between me and GW Basic. I can find good things to say about most programming languages. I would struggle to find anything very much good to say about GW Basic, but if you've got a different opinion, please let me know down below. Or if you've got any other languages that really scarred you the way that GW Basic has scarred me, share that with us. I'll be back shortly with something else. I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.